My name is Jean Marie Herron. I'm a certified professional organizer and the business development manager for the Junk Luggers. My mission is to improve the quality of people's lives through the decluttering of their homes and offices in an eco-friendly and non-judgmental way. If you'd like to see more of these videos, simply click the subscribe button. Welcome to this month's POSSE's Pen. It is all about charity madness and my basketball theme, so I'm calling it a sustainable humanitarian slam dunk. So we're going to go from 12:30 to 1 o'clock. My name is Jean Marie Herron for any of those of you who may not know me, and I am both a certified professional organizer and the business development manager for the Junk Luggers. And a couple of housekeeping and agenda items. So I am recording the pen, and I'm gonna ask everybody to stay muted until the Q&A, unless you have something like really earth-shattering. If at that point, please, you can unmute, but then mute yourself when you're done with your question, or you can type questions into the chat box. So I'm gonna go over some charitable resources today, but when we open it up to Q&A, I would love it if you would share your charitable resources with the group, if I haven't mentioned them already, because I would love for this to be a venue where we can all help each other as well as the planet out. And then next month, my theme is Spring Ahead with Your Memorabilia. I do have a spotlight guest speaker. She's not going to be speaking the whole time, but I've invited my colleague Laura D'Antoni of Video Magic Productions out of West Nyack, New York, because I'm going to talk about all the different ways to help us kind of rein in our memorabilia, especially on the media end and the photo end where you may want to do digital transfers. So that's going to be next month. And then we'll go to Ask the Organizer, and then we will close. All right. So I wanted to start off with the slide called Why Donate? Those of you who know me well know that I've been a professional organizer for 16 years, and I've recently moved over to the Junk Luggers, which to me, I know we're a junk removal company, but I like to say that we're an eco-friendly furniture and junk removal company with a charitable mindset. And I don't just say that to say that, that really is it's what makes us special. We try very, very hard there to whatever we take from somebody's home or commercial building, we try to get it recycled, we try to get it donated, and the last place we go is the landfill. And during my second week, I decided to go out on a truck all day from the beginning of, the driver's shift to the end of the driver's shift. So this is Joe in the picture. He's one of our fabulous drivers. And we have a fleet on the road anywhere between 4 to 7 trucks a day. So I was in one truck for one day, and Joe and I made 3 stops at the landfill. And each time we stopped, our truck was weighed. And each time we were weighed, we dropped over 1 million tons of junk. So one truck, one day, one junk removal company, and there were lots of other folks there. And it really sat heavily on me at the end of the day. And I just kept thinking, what can I do? So it's very,
can you repeat that? Do you really mean 1 million tons? Because there's 2,000 pounds in a ton, right?
1 ton, over 1 ton, sorry. So
okay. I just wanted to be sure. Okay.
Each time so in one day, we put over 3 tons of garbage into the landfill. And then, of course, there's more trucks, more jobs in a day, and more companies. So, so I really try hard to make sure I tell all kinds of people about how you can donate. So this is really, today is really all about donating, so that you do 3 things. You help others, you help yourself, and you help the planet in a very eco-friendly, sustainable way. But again, from a humanitarian perspective. So I just wanted to share that because it was really, I don't know if I almost want to say it was a scary, eerie feeling, because as I sat in that truck, I really thought about what was happening, and then of course everything was going to go into another truck and be driven out to Pennsylvania. So it stuck with me. So I'm going to talk first about furniture, because furniture is definitely one of those things that people like to donate. It can be charitable, but I will tell you, especially in this tri-state area, furniture is one of those things that it's very difficult to donate. It's very difficult to sell unless it's really high value, and it's difficult to toss. It's difficult to get rid of. So we partner on a regular basis with Habitat for Humanity, but I will tell you, if you're just a regular homeowner, it's difficult to get Habitat for Humanity to an individual home because they get so many requests a day. The picture you see here is the truck at our Hackensack warehouse. And so we have a partnership with them, and I call them when I need them on a regular basis. It can also be a little tedious because they're so particular about what they pick up that you have to send them all kinds of pictures, and then you got to deal with their truck schedule. And then right now, this is as a couple of weeks ago, they won't actually go into your home. So they expect everything to either be in the garage or at curbside. So this has really become hard for people to do. But they are, if you don't mind taking it to their restores, the ones closest to us here would be what they call the Bergen County store or the Westwood store, and the Wayne Patterson store. So it can be done. You can donate furniture. It's just hard to do. And then, of course, there are all kinds of ways that you could do this from a digital perspective, in terms of, the Buy Nothing Project, the free areas on Facebook and Craigslist. And, all you have to do is Google it and see what comes up on your phone or your computer. But you have to be a little cautious and careful about donating on the internet. So that's furniture. So I wanted to talk specifically to furniture because I don't have the statistics in front of me, but I just did I was doing a presentation for a property management company, and I think that we're putting about 11 million tons of furniture into our landfills right about now. It's kind of up there with e-waste, and clothing's a little below that. Okay. So the other charities that I really like to work with is what I call a one-stop shop. So when we're in homes and there's all kinds of things to donate, everything from baby items to toys and everything in between, books, clothes, decor, art, towels and linen, CDs, DVDs, small appliances like a coffee maker, a blender, something small. These are the kind of items that can be done through what I call a one-man carry. So whether, it's vets, Salvation Army, Goodwill, my favorite at the moment is the United Breast Cancer Foundation, because they're always in this area. They're always reliable. And, their staff is terrific. Post-COVID, it's been really tough to get a lot of, if you were to try to call Goodwill or Salvation Army right now here, it's hard to even get a human being on the phone. So my go-tos at the moment here in New Jersey are breast cancer and the vets. Of course, you can go and drop off items as well, but if you want to pick up at your door and you want what I call a one-stop shop, this is the way to go. At my warehouse in Hackensack right now, I have 2 weekly scheduled appointments with breast cancer. That's just how much stuff we donate on a regular basis. So they come first thing in the morning, and we do 2 humongous pickups with them, but they come locally to your door as well, especially in Bergen County. So I wanted to go over kind of one-stop shop folks. Medical donations, I have found, in both in junk luggers as well as in POSSE, this used to be one of the hardest categories to donate, but I've recently found a wonderful resource called the 9/11 Fund, and there's a retired fire chief. His name is John. He'll come to our warehouse once a week. He comes every Friday morning now, and I don't think he would mind if I gave out his information if any of you want that from me. because I see a lot of wheelchairs, a lot of walkers, braces, crutches, and down to hand sanitizer. And we know there's people out there that can use this. We just don't know where to take it. So medical donations. For those of you who do not know about my Decluttering and Beyond home preparation resource list, it's just about 6 pages long. I give it away for free. I collaborate with Cindy Meyer of Ridgewood Moving, and I update it quarterly. So Deb and I just updated it for March of 2022. She is putting the link in the chat right now for the most updated version. It's also on my website as well, on my homepage, if you sign up for my e-zine. So it gets really, really specific. So like on the front page, it starts off with a category called bikes and sewing machines. And it goes, all the way through basically to Z on page 4, which is, women's and children's items. And then it has a small section for selling and a small section for home preparation. I don't like to give out a lot of information relative to selling because I've never sold on behalf of my clients for many, many reasons. One of them being it's so hard to manage client expectations when it comes to selling, and selling venues kind of change all the time, just like charitable resources change all the time. But the first 4 pages are all kinds of humanitarian resources that you can use. So for example, if you have it and you go to where it says blankets and quilts, even though it's Project Linus and they ask for brand new blankets because of COVID, but they take all kinds of materials and equipment. So every time I'm in a home and, we have a mature woman who's done a lot of sewing and quilting and needlepoint and crochet, I know, okay, I have a great resource for all of those items. So if you don't have that list, get that list. We can also talk more about it in the chat. And if you have a great resource yourself, I just want to reiterate, please let me know, and I'm happy to add it to our list. So that's the resource list. I'm keeping this presentation very, very short on my behalf because I want to get to Q&A and I want to do a lot of sharing. So I'm just going to kind of finish up with saying here, if you're not already on our newsletter, please sign up for our newsletter, connect with us on social media. All of these recordings are up on my YouTube channel. So you just would have to go to my website and click on the YouTube icon and you'll get all of the past recordings. I started to do this during COVID, once a month, a gratis informational Zoom call, if you will, for people who wanted to get better organized and be more productive. So those are there. And Deb is going to put a couple links in the chat box. If you ever feel like writing a Google review for either Junk Luggers or Posse, that would be great. And then just a quick reminder, next month's Posse's Pen is going to be all on memorabilia. And I call it Spring Ahead because you know how we like to declutter our homes and our nests in spring. We all get that urge to purge, as I like to say. So one of the hardest categories to declutter in a home would be memorabilia. So for those of you who have either downsized already or are thinking about downsizing, this is just like, this will give you a headache, your memorabilia. Okay, so that's going to be next month. That's where the link is to register, and it'll be in my newsletter as well. So I always do it the 3rd Wednesday of each month from 12:30 to 1 o'clock. All right, so I'm going to go back to the Brady Bunch, and you guys are going to share with me. So please come out of your microphones and talk and tell me who your favorite charitable resources are. I'm taking notes. That's Maggie. Say hi, Maggie. Maggie wanted to say hi. She's becoming very senior, so I hope you don't mind. All right. She has a resource for us, but I don't know what it is.
Her resource could be Ribari. And they do take a lot of stuff up at Ribari. So that could be a resource for animal supplies.
Yep.
But I have a question. One of my clients is looking to get rid of some antiques, some really nice Art Deco. It's a waterfall vintage pieces. You
Send
have a
me an
recommendation?
email. Send me an
Okay.
email and I'll send you a list.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay. Who wants to talk about their favorite charitable resource? Doreen, do you? I'm going to start picking on
I
people.
was going to say I'm in trouble now with the teacher.
Hey, Marie. Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Those are,
I was just going to say,
Sue.
I live out in Hunterdon County. So I'm in the west annex of Posse's Pen. But I use the Clinton is our nearest neighboring town, and they have Open Cupboard, which is their food pantry and thrift shop. So usually if we're donating things, that's where they head to. So and that supports the local Hunterdon community. So, but I've used your resource list on a number of occasions. I've shared your resource list. I got somebody in Queens looking to donate a piano, and I was like, oh, adopt a piano. That's how I learned.
My only resource for a piano.
Yeah, exactly. So
hardest thing in the world to get out of a house.
it is. So your resource list has been huge for me. I've been decluttering myself. I'm working on my mother. I have friends that are like, what do I do with this? I'm like, here's the list, go. So yes, that's our local
thank you
one.
so much, Doreen. And when you're outside of this area, one of the things that's on the top of this list in sort of like the dashed in section is, it sounds simple, and it is simple, but we forget to use, is Google, donations near me, or clothing donations near me, or piano donation, whatever it is, Google it first and see what comes up. But thank you for the idea of the food banks. So on this list, under food, we do have here locally the Center, what is it called? Center for Food Action. And I'm wondering, I see Move for Hunger. So I have to put, I don't know why it came off the list. I don't see it on. So Center for Food Action, CFA. So that will go back on the list. So that was a good one. Okay, thank you, Doreen. Sue.
Hi, Jean. Marie.
Thank you.
JM. I'm a fan, and you might want to reference that New Yorker article that I emailed you about. That was fantastic. I thought we, right?
Sorry. I thought I posted it. Deb, did I post that? I thought I did.
Yes, it's on your Facebook page. Oh, that was so good. And that even had resources we didn't know, right? I mean, amazing. It's New York centered, but Manhattan centered, but I think there's a lot of other, but I wanted to follow up on your comment about furniture, because that's my pet peeve. I mean, I drive around my town, Franklin Lakes, and people put really, really nice furniture out on the street just to be destroyed by the rain and the weather, right? And, I just wish there was something we could do about it. I know that Ditto, I don't know if Ditto in Haledon still does this, but I know they do take furniture. They are somewhat selective, but they pile up a truck, or at least they used to. They pile up a moving truck and haul stuff down to Appalachia a couple times a year. And I don't know if they still do that, but that would be a great thing to do with furniture. I just am trying to figure out how to get my town to get on board with, because when we put that heavy furniture in we pay to haul it away. We pay by ton, right? We pay by the tonnage. So taxpayers are paying a lot of money to dispose of that heavy furniture. And I just wish there was a way, the town when I lived in Westchester, there used to be a little old guy who was approved by the town to go around with his pickup truck on bulk garbage day. And he was allowed to put furniture in the back of his truck. And I don't know what the heck he did with it, but at least it kept it out of the landfills, I think.
Yeah.
Any other solutions anybody has about furniture?
So let me just answer you 1 second, and then we'll open it up. And then I want to go to Lisa. So I've had a tough time getting Ditto to respond to me. And I can try again, but I couldn't get a response. So I don't think they're currently on the list, but they are in North Haledon. And I find that what happens when you have the smaller donation centers, especially post-COVID, in terms of the volunteerism and the expense on the truck and the brawn of the men, it's pretty tough. But that might be an option for other people who live in this area as well.
Actually, just for your information, they are closed down for 2 weeks this month for, I think, a renovation.
Okay.
But they should be reopened in April.
Yep. And then depending on what town you live in, again, it goes out on bulk night. I live in Ridgewood, and you used to be able to put anything out. And this year they changed it to only 7 bulk items because people were really taking advantage. But, you know, one of the things, you know, and I'm just going to put on my junk lugger hat for a second, you know, we do estimates all the time. And we had a furniture removal estimate for somebody, and it was $1,000 because it was over a full truck of furniture. Now, remember, we try as much as we can to keep all of that out of the landfill and you know, donate it and repurpose it. And when I followed up on the estimate, they said, "Oh, you were way too expensive. We got somebody to do it for $200." Well, I know exactly what happened to that furniture. If they got somebody to take it away for $200, they went around the corner, they dumped it, they didn't pay the fees, they certainly didn't try to recycle it or donate it. So, you know, it is, again, furniture is really, really difficult in this area. Okay, anybody else have a furniture suggestion before we move to Lisa, who had a question or a comment?
I was just going to say, I actually shop the vintage shops. It's Doreen.
Oh, hi, Jordan.
And I've gotten to know the owner at one that we especially like, and it's in Easton, Pennsylvania, but that's close to me. And I will ask her on occasion, what is she purchasing? So right now she's very much mid-century everything. So that's been a helpful resource. We've sold some stuff to her, and then she in turn obviously has it up in her shop. So again, I don't know if that's something around the area, but furniture is awfully hard. When we cleaned out my father-in-law's house, it was painful for me to figure out what does, you know, because I was like, what do I do? And Salvation Army was, you know, 3 weeks out, and everything was just, it was taking too long, and it was a shame for some of the stuff. But like I said, that's another resource that we as a family have used is the local vintage shop or consignment store or whatever it is.
Yep. You definitely do a Google search. The last time I did one on furniture, I spent over an hour and I got nowhere. I couldn't find anything. But you know, they're hard to find. Lisa, what were you going to say?
So I have 2 resources that I've used. One for pets. I know somebody mentioned Arbery. So in Paramus, there is a really lovely woman. Her name's Noreen, and her company is called Happy Tales. And she lives in Paramus, and she fosters animals. And I've donated so much great stuff to her, from towels to, you know, new stuff, gently used things. So I just have her sell. She's on Facebook, and I have her sell. I can put that in the chat.
Sure. Or if you chat or send me an email, and if you get her permission, because I wouldn't do it without her permission, if she'd like to go on this resource list for donations, I'm happy to put her on with Rabari. I used to have Rabari on, and I'm not sure. That's totally my mistake. I don't know why it came off. Again, a lot of things happened with COVID. So probably during COVID, they weren't taking donations, but I need to put them back on. So then we'd have 2 pet resources, towels, linens. That's great.
Yeah. And then I recently had a client who was moving, you know, we were playing Beat the Clock, and she had furniture that she wanted to donate, give away. And although it's not, you know, perfect, it worked. And she got rid of every single thing she wanted, which is on just Facebook Marketplace. And, you know, when things are free, people get very creative in terms of recruiting resources. So we told that, you know, and what we also did, kind of jumping around here, we put it on the her town's parent page.
Mhm.
And that was, we got rid of a couple things there too. And ironically, one of them was a piano. And so they just, you know, they got whomever to come and they got the piano out safely. They sent us pictures of it in its new home. Um, so Facebook Marketplace is great. And, you know, I put it on my town's parent page. She put it on her town's parent page. We got rid of probably 10 pieces of furniture between the two.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Can't say enough about going digital. Like I said, you know, on the top portion, there's lots of ways to either donate for free or donate for a little bit of money. So you can absolutely do that as well. It's a great way to be. But going back to just furniture, also on the resource list under furniture is a wonderful charity called Making It Home. They're part of Bergen Volunteers. They're pretty specific, but what they do is they take furniture on the smaller end. So they're not going to take, you know, a 3-seat couch. They're not going to take, you know, a large dining room hutch with a glass break front, but they'll take smaller furniture and they set up homes in Bergen County for people coming out of shelters. So, all right. Anybody else on a resource? Liz, just unmute yourself.
Hi, everybody. Just a thought, and I how you doing? I like the two charities you mentioned for this very same reason, breast cancer and the vets, because they are very responsive and they come and they pick up. And I had problems with the others. However, something, and I don't know how you go about this, but you, with your experience, may know. I know that a lot of times with churches, they're members of churches, or they have some affiliation where there are people, they have families that lost their homes, whether there's been a fire or something has happened where they really just need to start, you know, from scratch, and these people have nothing. I'm not so sure, other than, you know, looking into communities, but I know that because I've donated clothes to, you know, those sorts of charities, but I know that they have needs. So that's just a thought. And you might, Jean, you may know more, you know, about how you go about that.
I can think of the American Red Cross in a situation like that, especially, you know, with disasters like fire and such. But I'm trying to think. I think probably starting with your town's emergency services. Pardon?
And I'm also, I think it's a more local approach to, like, you know, in terms of Patterson or different areas that churches, whether any houses of worship, where,
absolutely.
Where their community may have, you know, they're making an appeal on behalf of their members or someone in the community, you know, because they've had this tragedy and they need help. So.
Yeah. So that's a great idea, starting with your local, you know, church or even emergency services in your town, because they're the first to arrive. All right, we're closing in with our last minute or two. Anybody have anything striking they want to end with?
Gina, I can just, if no one else, I want to just add that in terms of the churches, our church sponsors a refugee group, and occasionally they're asking for furniture and other items, but that's very sporadic. But I like the suggestion of contacting churches. The other group that settles families that were previously homeless is Family Promise. They move people from temporary housing to more permanent housing. And the only problem with Family Promise is they don't have a storage.
Mm-hmm.
So I do like I think Bergen Volunteers is probably the best.
Okay, great, Sue, thanks. And I think we'll end with, I was talking with Deb earlier, and she's out in Wisconsin. So she was speaking to clothing in particular. And, you know, there's a lot of consignment shops where she is. So Deb, do you want to just speak to that for a second?
Sure. Of course, we love to donate when we can. But if you have pieces that are still in good shape, maybe you've lost weight. When I lost a bunch of weight, I got rid of a lot of clothes, and there are consignment stores that will pay you directly. You usually get a lot smaller amount, or consignment, and you have a contract, of course, that after it sells, you get a percentage. But there's all different kinds of ways to repurpose items that you have for other people.
Yep. And we have a lot of those around here too. Just Google them. There used to be one in almost every single town pre-COVID. Almost every single town on their main street had a consignment store. Now they're, a little bit fewer and further between, just like antique stores.
Jean, I
yeah.
just have one more quick one.
Okay.
I recently discovered a consignment shop, Once Upon a Child. And it's a national chain. And you reminded me, Deb, that they will, if you bring in decent used children's stuff, clothing, equipment, furniture, they will actually just pay you cash. And they really have it's a great place to shop too. And the one around us is on, I think it's on Route 17 or Route 4, but it's Once Upon a Child.
Yep.
In Paramus.
Great. Awesome. Oh, well, I hope you all got something out of this. And I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of March. And hopefully the next time we're on the call, it's over 70 degrees instead of 60 degrees. Remember, if you want to see more videos on my organizing, productivity, and decluttering topics, hit the subscribe button and you'll be alerted when the next one is ready.